For years, we've all been watching the streaming giants fight it out, basically in a race to get the most subscribers. Well, guess what? That war is over, and a new one, a much more complicated one, has just begun. The prize this time isn't just getting you to sign up. It's about making sure you never, ever want to leave.
Okay, let's really dig into this quote because it's the key to understanding everything that's happening right now. For anyone investing in this space, you have to realize the game has completely changed. The fight is no longer about who can sell the most subscriptions. It's about who can best monetize your attention, your habits, your data. The product isn't the service anymore, it's you.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to break down why the old rulebook is totally useless now. We'll look at the industry's biggest confessions of weakness, we'll identify the real threats they're facing, then we'll uncover a really dangerous paradox in their technology, and we'll wrap it all up with a final briefing.
Let's be clear. We are officially in the second streaming war, and in this new war, the old mantra is dead. You know, in real estate, it's location, location, location. While for streaming, the only thing that matters from now on is retention, retention, retention. That's the whole game.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. The biggest strategic moves these companies are making, they're actually huge confessions. They're basically admitting their weaknesses out loud. And it all starts with them admitting that their one service, all on its own, just isn't enough to keep you around anymore.
This right here, this is the question. It's the one thing keeping every single streaming executive up at night. See, the old answer was easy. Just make more cool stuff. But that doesn't work when people can just sign up for a month, watch the one show they want, and then cancel. And wow, this number just lays the whole problem bare. A statistic from Recurly shows that nearly a quarter of all new subscribers aren't new at all. They're just people who canceled and are coming back, probably for a single season of a show. The subscriber pool isn't really growing, it's just a revolving door.
And the problem goes even deeper. Almost a quarter of the entire US audience are now serial churners. They're people who hop between services constantly. Now, Netflix has somehow managed to keep its churn rate incredibly low, which is amazing. But you gotta ask, what's missing on this slide? Yep, Disney. They refuse to publish their churn rate, and for any investor, that is a massive red flag. You can bet if those numbers were good, we'd all know about them.
So what's the big plan to fight all this churn? Well, it's pretty simple actually. They're turning back the clock. The main weapon they're using is the Super Bundle, and this offer from Sky in the UK is the perfect example. They're packaging five major services together for a huge discount. It's the cable bundle all over again, just with a slicker interface. Okay, confession number 2, the mad dash into vertical short-form video. And what this really is them admitting a pretty painful truth. For all the money they spend on big fancy shows, they are not a part of your daily life. And the data tells you exactly why they're panicking. Just look at this. More than a third of all the time you spend looking at a screen is on social video. You know, TikTok, Reels, Shorts. That is a huge chunk of the pie that traditional streaming just isn't getting. They have to go fight for it.
And it's not just talk. Take a look at this. Paramount's Project Eagle. We're talking leaked documents showing they want to flood their platform with 1 million user-generated clips. This isn't just making short clips of their own shows, this is opening the floodgates, admitting they can't win the daily attention war by themselves.
You know, there's a perfect metaphor for what's happening. It's like you own this fancy Michelin-starred restaurant, right? And you decide to open a cheap food truck right out front. Why? Because that's where the people are. These premium studios have to go to the audience because the audience isn't coming to them every single day.
So all this stuff, the bundles, the vertical video, it's all defensive. It's a reaction. But who or what are they reacting to? It's not another studio. No, the real disruptive force here is a totally different kind of army, an unconventional one that's building a whole new kind of empire, the creators. And this is where things just get wild. Look at MrBeast. The guy has almost 500 million subscribers. And what does he do with that influence? He doesn't start another streaming service. He buys a bank. A fintech app with millions of Gen Z users. A YouTuber is moving into finance. Think about that.
And it's not just a one-off. Then you've got Darmon. He gets billions of views on YouTube, and now he's just signed a deal to produce content for Fox. The entire pipeline is reversing. Creators aren't just trying to get on TV anymore. They're becoming the studios that supply TV.
And this isn't just happening in the US. This is getting industrialized. In France, their top streamer, Cometto, signed a massive deal with a media company specifically to create projects for traditional TV and streaming platforms. They're building a formal highway from creator to mainstream.
So, what's the secret sauce here? What do these creators have that the big studios are scrambling for? It's not just followers, it's trust. They've built these massive communities that have made them a daily habit, and now they're using that trust to build entire ecosystems, from banking to production.
But okay, for any investor watching this, there is a massive, and I mean massive risk hiding under the hood of all this. I call it the tech paradox. The streaming platforms have these incredibly sophisticated weapons, but they're being aimed using really, really bad intelligence.
See, on one hand, the tech is just brilliant. You've got Amazon using AI to literally create shots for their shows, saving a ton of money. You've got Roku using AI to make their free ad-supported channels profitable. But here's the flaw, the giant crack in the foundation. The data that the entire ad-supported model runs on is just shockingly bad.
And if you want a number to put on that, how about this one? $7.4 billion. That's the estimated amount of ad money that's just wasted. Poof, gone. Every single year because the data trying to match ads to people is wrong over 80% of the time. They've built this high-tech weapon that has no idea what it's shooting at.
All right, so let's land the plane here. This is your final briefing. These are the key takeaways you absolutely need to understand the new rules of this war. Okay, first, it's all about retention, not acquisition. Churn is the enemy, and bundles are the weapon of choice. Second, our attention is split into a million pieces, so the big platforms have to go fight on social media's turf. Third, creators aren't just talent anymore. They're becoming infrastructure. The real growth is in the ecosystems they're building on trust. And finally, that data they rely on, it's a huge liability. The whole ad tech market is basically a house of cards. And all of this leaves us with one final, and I think pretty provocative question to chew on. As you look at the next 5 years, where is the real disruption going to come from? Who should the old guard really be afraid of? A traditional banker with a billion-dollar war chest? Or a YouTuber who just bought a bank?